All right, guys. Good morning. This is meeting for our LJ Realty team. Today is January 8th, 2025. So happy New Year's to every one of you guys. And hopefully we can close a lot more deals this year because we know how 2024 went, right? So the interest rates, that is your main concern for your client, where the interest rates are headed. So we're going to be talking about that for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So interest rates, according to Freddie Mac, they were hovering around 6.91. So you can see the 52-week range. So for the whole year, the lowest that Freddie Mac saw was 6.08. The highest they saw was 7.22. But according to Mortgage News Daily, they have, they're updating their rates on daily basis, and that is hovering around 7.14. So you can rest assured that, hey, the interest rates have not come down from seven ranges for quite some time now. Okay. So if they're going with an FHA, maybe they can get lower interest rates. There are pros and cons to FHA loans as well. But these are your top tier scenarios. That means your client must have great credit score, 780 or more, down payment of 25% or more, and primary residence. So let's say now your client has 620 credit scores. They're not getting this rate of 7.14. If their credit scores are 620, there's a good chance that this rate will go up to maybe 7.4 or 7.3. If they're putting lower than 25% down payment, majority of the people are putting 3%, 5%, 10%, right? If that's the case, they're going to pay addition or higher interest rates. Okay? If it's going to be an investor usually pays at least 20 to 30 basis points higher compared to a person who's going to live there as their primary residence. Okay, so these are all the factors. So you want to tell your client, hey, speak with different loan officers and see what options that you have. So if a family of maybe two people or three that has an annual income of $120,000, so it doesn't mean if they're getting if it's one person making all that 100,000 and the second person is making 20,000, or it's 50-50, doesn't matter about that. So combined income is 120,000. Their down payment they're using was 60,000. Monthly debt was $150, which is really low end. Okay, majority of the households that we see is 250, 350 or more, but this household had only $150. Interest rates will go with today's interest rates of 7.14. They were looking in Nassau, so property taxes were around 9,000. So this person could find a property around $634,000 or max out at $634,000. So maybe they want to find something 599, 610, 620, they should be fine. So they did find a property that was around $615,000 and they were perfectly fine with that. So if you have your clients that needs different scenarios, we don't do any credit checks in the initial stages. We just look at what their credit karma shows, and we just tell them, hey, this is what you may qualify for. Okay. So what are some predictions? This is from NAR. So what are is NAR actually predicting for 2025? So we're saying that interest rates have not come down since for many months now. So we're seeing majority of the interest rates are hovering around 7%, and consumers are getting used to this. This is according to NAR's research as well. So Lawrence Young just mentioned this that hey, consumers appear to recalibrate expectations because the interest rates are on the high end. What else can they do? Right? If they want to buy a house, there is not much another choice there, right? There's not enough choices out there, so they need to simply adapt to the 7% or 6%. Okay, so mortgage rates have averaged above 6% for at least past 24 months. That's 2 years. So buyers are no longer waiting or expecting the rates to drop right away, right? It got to make sense. They got to be, why did it drop in 2020? We had a pandemic. Since then, our economy is doing fine and Fed is not cutting rates. So if they're not cutting rates and the bond market is not reacting in any positive way, the interest rate is going to stay above 6 to 7%. Okay. So as realtors, We just need to educate our clients that, hey, the interest rates are not coming down anytime soon. If you're renting right now, you have good income, you are ready to purchase, you should make that move. Okay. But there are some ways where you can get, lower interest rates. We're not saying that someone is going to offer you 7% and another company is going to offer you 6%. That's not the case. But even some points can make a big difference for you when it comes to your mortgage rates. So one is that you want to do your research or you want to tell your client, hey, I see this, you have a pre-approval from Chase Bank or TD Bank or from LJ. You should shop around. You should go and see and do some research online and go with another bank just to compare the rates. So do your research, improve your credit scores. We mentioned, that the bare minimum credit scores that you might need for conventional is 620, but you need 740 or higher for the best rates. If we say, hey, this client is elite, their credit scores are top notch, we're referring to any clients above 740 or more. Okay, anybody below that, we say, hey, you can still get a conventional loan, but your rate will not be as good as if you had 740 or more. Okay, maybe this is not available for everyone. Maybe you want to go with 15-year mortgage. Obviously, if it's a 15-year mortgage, instead of 30 years, you're going to be paying your mortgage in 15 years. So, which means that your payment is going to be double or more. So if it's going to be more, the interest rate that they're going to be offering you is lower than your 30 years. Okay. And all these rates, they go up and down every single day. But what matters to you is what rate that you're locking in, right? As a first-time home buyer, I'm checking my rates on Mortgage News Daily. I'm Googling it, asking, ChatGPT. I'm getting the same thing that, hey, the interest rates on the higher end or they're moving up and down, right? But what is my rate? My rate is when I actually lock in the rate with my loan officer. That usually comes after you already found the house, you put in an application with the loan officer, and you're working on the conditions and you're maybe halfway through your conditions, maybe 2 weeks passed, and then the next 2 weeks you're expecting to close. This is where your loan officer is saying that, hey, I'm paying attention to the mortgage rates on daily basis. I'm paying attention to your economic data, right? How's the inflation? How's the unemployment? And now is maybe might be a good time to do a rate lock or wait another week or so. The loan officer's job is to do that. Okay. Once they do lock in a rate, that becomes their rate for next 15 or 30 days. Okay. So if a loan officer tells them, hey, you want to buy down the rate, as realtors, we should have some sort of idea what does that mean. If they're telling them to buy down the rate or pay points, that means they're asking for at least 1% of the loan amount to reduce the rate by 0.25%, which is not a lot. So in simple terms, it just gotta make sense. If I were to spend $4,000, how long will it take to get that $4,000 back, right? If I'm spending $4,000 today to buy down the rate, what my savings look like per month, and how many months or how many years will it take me to get that $4,000 back? If it's going to take many years, most we say that if it's going to take more than 24 months, which is 2 years, there's a good chance that you might refinance down the line. The interest rates might come down in 2026, 2027 to maybe 5% or so. Maybe you do want to do a refinance then. Then it does not make sense to do a buy down in this stage. But your loan officer's job is to do that, to show you different scenarios. Hey, if you were to buy down the rate, this is what your savings look like per month, and this is how long it's going to take you to get your money back and start profiting from this buying down points. Okay, this is an example for you here. Loan amount $500,000. You have 30-year mortgage without any points. The loan officer says, hey, we can offer you 7.14. But if you were to buy down the rate, right, it's going to cost you $5,000. And maybe you want to buy 2 points, that's $10,000. and we can give you 6.64, right? That sounds good. Okay, I'm getting 6.64 compared to 7.14, but it's going to take me 5 years to get that money back. And the monthly savings I have is only $162. Maybe I can use that $10,000 to renovate my place, maybe, or just to have it for my closing cost. I don't want to spend that, or I don't want to buy down the rate because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so if you're thinking as a realtor, if my client is asking, hey, I'm buying down the rate, you should understand the concept of it. If someone is offering lower rate, they got to be a cost for that. And the time to break even is the most important. In this case, 5 years is way too long to get my money back for $10,000. I can do other things with that money. Okay. So is it now the right time to buy? So as a realtor, you should be talking to your clients when you're showing them everything, right? Or maybe you're talking to them for the first time as you as a realtor and they're as a first time home buyer. First is the income. Do you have stable income? Are you constantly working consistently working for the last 24 months? And is your job stable? That's the case, that's a good check mark. Next is your credit scores. If your credit scores are in 500s, that's a negative, that's a bad sign. If it's in 600s, you want to make a goal to take it to 700s. There are a few files that we work with where we see credit scores close to 800. Not every file is like that. We don't want to have your client wait a year just to improve their credit scores. As long as we have them in high 600s or low 700s, that's considered a good credit score. Okay, and a desire to own a place to call home, right? There are many people who say, hey, maybe renting is better than buying. But if you have stable income, you have good credit scores, and you want a place where you can live for a long time, then you probably want to buy a house. Okay, so this is another article by Housing Wire that has spring housing demand already started. Right? There are a few agents of ours, they were in November, December, when everything was slow, they were still going under contract. And now they're closing those deals. People who have waited, hey, I'm gonna wait for 2025 to get started. Guess what? 2025 is here already. So if you want to close in January, there's a good chance that you're not able to do that because that same client is going to take some time to find the right property, go under contract, and close that deal maybe next in February or March, right? So again, if you don't have anything under contract, your goal should be to be part of this stats that I want to be under contract with my pending sales. So you can see that in 2025, finally, we are seeing more deals under contract week over week compared to last several years, compared to 2023 and 2024. Okay, so people are still going under contract with these higher interest rates. So again, this is a good chart to show you guys from January till December here. 5% more single family homes were under contract compared to last year. And some of you guys ask, hey, I want to do advertisement in November or December. If you want to do advertisement for yourself on social media or, through EDDM, the postcards, November and December is not the month to do it. But look at the chart here that deals going under contract after January. You can see in February, March, every year from March until September, you see the trend go up. So if you want to spend $1 for your advertisement, maybe next few months is the time to do it. Okay. So if you want to get, more leads coming in, especially we have some agents who have closed many, many deals on the buyer side, and now they want to go to the listing side, this is the time to do it, right? February, March is the time to advertise for yourself. So if you want to do co-branding with LJ Mortgage, where we pay half of the price, you pay the other half because you're on one side and we're on the other, we can do that. But let's get more engaging with social media. Let's go ahead and start spending some money on advertisement in next few months so we can really plant the seeds. So by end of this year, you can be the top agent. right? It's definitely doable. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have closed enough deals on the buyer side. Let's get started with the listing side and let's take some control over that. Okay? And let's close more deals this year, guys. So how about the inventory? Same exact thing. The inventory has gone up compared to 2021, 2022, and 2023. 27% more than last year, right? These things that we're showing you to telling you guys that, hey, the stats are going in our favor. We just need to take some action on it and help out the clients that are looking to buy a house this year. Okay? So the forecast is for the mortgage rates is going to stay between 7.25. That's a little bit higher than what we're seeing today, right? If the economic data comes out good, just uh, the day before yesterday, we had JOLTS report, which is the job opening report, about 8 million job openings compared to 7 point something expected. That means the economy is doing fine. If the economy is doing fine, the Fed is not going to be in panic mode. If they're not in panic mode, they're not going to cut any rates. So the projection from different sources is that we're going to see the lowest we might see is 5.75. So close to 6%. And the highest 7, what we're going through right now. So clients are getting used to it, but I just want our agents to get used to it as well. Not be, the naysayer and saying that, hey, the interest rates are too high. Nobody wants to buy a house right now. There's no properties available. All those things are not true. Okay. The clients are getting used to it because if they go to one bank, go to another bank, they're checking online. Hey, for last 24 months, the interest rates are above 6%. I don't have any choice, so I'm going to make a purchase in 2025. We have few clients that closed with us on the mortgage side. They bought 4 houses in 2024 as investors. So what do you tell them, right? That they're not stupid or they're smart enough to make their own decision. They're buying 4 houses in one year as investors. They're seeing something in the long run. Okay? So just be on the positive side that, hey, interest rates are not coming down, but my inventory is increasing. I want to focus on the clients who are ready to purchase this year. Okay? The home prices are not coming down. Why is that? Because year over year, we see there's a growth for majority of the home prices and majority of the markets in the United States. They go up between 4 to 7%, right? That is a pretty good margin when it comes to building your equity. Hey, it was tough for me to buy a house, right? It was tough because I didn't have enough down payment and my closing cost was on the higher end. My credit scores was not that great. All those things are negative things. But once a loan officer and a realtor helps that client and get that property over the year, the prices are going up, right? They're building equity. Instead of paying rent, they're paying mortgage. They're getting some tax benefits and the property value is going up. So you want to have that problem, right? That's a good problem to have. Like, hey, it was, tough for me to buy it, but once I bought it, it's all good news for me. Okay? So what can actually help with affordability? Maybe the prices can fall. Do you really think that the price is going to fall if it did not fall for last 24 months, even when the interest rates were above 6%? It's going to be hard to tell. Could the interest rates fall? We mentioned that, hey, if the economy is doing good, there's a less chance. In 2025, if anybody's asking you, what does the Fed thinks? Fed is saying that we're going to do 2 rate cuts the whole year for 2025. That means that they're not going to be cutting rates unless there's, job reports show really on negative side. Inflation is really coming down to 2%. Otherwise, they don't have any reason to do so. Okay. How about when it comes to vacancy? There's not a lot of vacancies even for rentals out there. You can see it's less than 7% and less than 1% for the homeowners themselves. Okay. And people who own the houses, they don't want to sell their house, right? There's reasons for that as well. Over 1/3 of the homeowners say that they will never sell their house or they won't sell their house at all, right? And what is the reason behind that, right? They're saying that they want to live there for as long as possible. And nearly 40% of them saying that, hey, we want to pay my mortgage. I want to live in this house as long as possible without any mortgage. They still have to worry about their property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, but guess what? They don't have that big chunk, going towards their mortgage because they paid off the mortgage. So if you owned a house, last few years or so, you want to start making extra payments if you can, but make a goal that, hey, next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, my goal is to have a property that does not have any mortgage. Okay, on average, majority of the buyers expect to live in the house 15 years, and that number is increasing since COVID. Before COVID, they said it was around 8 to 9 years, and now the new surveys show that people plan to live there for even longer. So we have to make tough decisions. Just based on that, guys, we had an offer accepted for one of our client, and the client was still double-minded because the rooms were really small for that property. It had property taxes were on the higher end, but the rooms were really small. So initially he liked it, then he wanted to back out, asking for a second opinion and all that. Guys, always think for your client, right? Not your commission, not how many houses you already showed to that person already. Think of that time that, hey, this decision that they're making, they plan to live there for a long time. So let's just make sure that they're satisfied with their decision. And we have zero influence over that. As an agent, as a realtor, my job is to make sure that, hey, let's get you the best savings. If the property is listed at 700,000, let me negotiate and try to get you the best deal possible. But when it comes to preference, right? Hey, I think the rooms are too small, or the backyard is too small, or the living room is too small, or the kitchen is too small. Guys, let them decide, and respect their decision. They don't want this property, perfectly fine. Let me show you 10 more, not even one more. Let me show you 10 more and see which property that you like. Okay? Have their interest always upfront to make sure that you stay professional and not think about anything else. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to go under contract with that client. And that client will give you so many other referrals because you do the right thing. Okay? And we have some agents who ask that, hey, my clients are questioning this whole commission thing. Some of the conversation I have with our agents, some of them are saying that, hey, even the home buyers are having conversation with their family and friends. Hey, I hired a realtor and the realtor charged me 1%. Another one says maybe they charge me 1.2%. So homeowners are having that conversation. But if it's a first-time home buyer, they're questioning your commission or the forms that we have, simply take them to the NAR website. So it's nar.realtor/the facts. Okay, we'll share these slides with you later, but just bookmark this page so this way, anytime you have a client that questions anything regarding the new rules, take them to the NAR website. It's not going to LJ website or anything, it's going to the NAR website and they can call them directly if they have any questions. And this fact page is available for the home buyer and for the seller. So if they were to click on I'm a home buyer or seller, they'll take them to a page like this. Okay, what does NAR settlement mean to me? How do MLS policies changes impact me, right? What is a written buyer's agreement? So they get that, they basically fact checking whatever you're saying. So if they were to click on for homeowners, they'll get a list like this. What does a settlement means for me? Does the agreement means for me? All that good stuff. Okay. Same thing for the home seller, right? If somebody's selling their house, someone they will say, "Hey, the new law is that I don't have to pay someone." Yes, you don't have to pay them, but it clearly says that here that you may consider paying the buyer's agent as well if you want to market it well, right? If you want to attract more buyers to your property, maybe you do want to offer something to the buyer side. Everything is negotiable. Okay? Anybody want to share anything regarding the commission? Anybody giving you guys hard time with your agreements or paying you? All right, guys. If anybody's giving you any hard time with that, you got to give them the right links. Okay. We mentioned this last year that there's a new law passed for the rental side. So the landlords will have to start paying their agents to represent them, and the tenant's agent do not have to pay the full rental fee, right? It might be partial, it might be none, whatever is negotiated. The landlords are getting penalized for this now. Okay. With our old change that we have with the NAR, that was the sellers were benefiting because they didn't have to pay double commission. Now, the same seller, maybe they don't want to sell, they want to, they're already the landlord and they want to rent out the place. If they're renting out, now this is a negative thing for them because the landlord will need to start paying their agent, at least their agent, maybe both sides. Okay? So just know that it is not in effect right now. Once it does go in effect, we will let you guys know. If you guys want more leads, guys, if you want to call expired listings, for sale by owners, pre-foreclosures, you want to connect with RedX, right? RedX is a really good website. It gives you a dialer, right? It does all the research for you. So let's say you want to work with all the expired listings, it's going to give you the expired listings for 69.99 per month, right? Anything new comes on that zip code that you selected, you're going to see that there. Same thing for sale by owners. You can do geo leads as well. Let's just say you select South Ocean Park and you want to get the homeowners' phone numbers and you want to call them and say, hey, do you want to, are you thinking about selling your property or do you want me to evaluate your property? That's the biggest thing you can provide to them for free, right? That could be the icebreaker. Hey, what do you think the property is worth? I can give you a detailed report on that. So that's how you're going to break the ice with them. Some agents are going through pre-foreclosures. I have Servjeet, we have Carvin, we have a few other agents, Aslam, that are really going with the foreclosure deals right now, right? Foreclosures, short sale, all those things are something where you can put in your pipeline and you can make good living out of that as well. But you need to understand the concept of it. You need to know, like, hey, as a realtor, where do I come in and where I can be the helping hand, right? And obviously make some money out of it. If you need any help with that foreclosure process, please schedule a meeting with me one-on-one and let's answer your questions. Okay? But this year, it should be the year where you want to be productive, where you want to close more deals, and you want to work with many leads as possible. Okay? We mentioned about advertisement. If you want to do Zillow leads or you want to do Realtor.com leads, both of them are the top platforms for leads. And you can select your budget and you want to start advertising where you can start getting leads as a buyer side and for the listing side. Okay. So Vedex, we speak about, they've been in business for 20 plus years, guys. They have, served over 122,000 agents, and they have stats are really good. But what good are the tools, until we actually use them and figure them out, right? So if this is a good tool, just by giving them $70 doesn't mean anything. They just give you a list for $70, right? What really matters is you actually picking up your phone and selecting a dedicated time, right? And that got to be on your terms. As an independent contractor, you have to decide, hey, I need to take out half an hour, 2 hours, whatever the time frame is for my real estate license, right? I pay my MLS fees all the time. I need to make sure that I can bring in good amount of income, not just one or two deals. I can close 5, 10 deals in a year, right? Which is really possible to do in real estate as long as you put your mind to it, right? So all the advertisement that you can think about, you want to do it in the next few months. Okay. Next, guys, is your MLS Touch. I highly recommend that every one of our agents download this on your app, right? This is available on Android and on Apple. It's called MLS-Touch. Once you download it, just know that you can track your client's activity, right? What your clients are doing, which property they favorite, which one they discarded, anything you want to send them messages, you can do it through them. If you want to do your research on the phone while you're on the go, you can do so from the same app. Right? You can monitor your market conditions. If you want to look at all the sold properties, all the active properties, you can do so, and you can see real-time market stats. Okay? When it comes to being a realtor agent, right, or real estate agent, one is to work with your client, right? But I think the bigger part is to know your inventory, know your market, right? Three things that I want to know in any market. I want to know how many new listings are available, which properties are going under contract, and which properties were sold, right? It could be anything. I don't care which area that you pick. Just start with one area and start tracking that down on a regular basis. So on regular basis means I do it on daily basis. I'm spending at least 1 hour just on inventory. I'm not even dealing with any clients. I just want to know from my own knowledge, for a commercial side, residential side, right? I don't touch majority of the rentals, but I just want to know what's active, what's gone under contract. And once I see the under contract, we don't see the price that was gone under contract. But if I look at the sold one, I can see how many days it took to sell that property, what was the listing price, and what was the sold price. If you start doing that on daily basis, you can literally know any market out there. Hey, I know the trend. You listed this property for $1 million. This is not going to sell for more than 950. And if you have that confidence when you're talking about any market, it's an easier conversation to have with the sellers in that market. So if anybody wants to sell a property in South Pleasant Park and they're asking for $1.2 million, I'll say that's reasonable for two family, right? If it's a brand new construction, somebody's asking for 1.6 million, I might say, hey, you're asking for 1.6, but you probably end up selling this for maybe 1.45. Okay? This is where we come in. Data matters. You have all the data, but you have to spend some time actually analyzing that. Okay? So Matrix is so powerful, guys, that is doing half of your work when you're setting up the right alerts. If you're setting up the right alerts, your client is getting the text messages as well. I had an agent say, "Hey, KV Core was doing text messages as well. What do you mean that, what's so different about this?" This is an automatic text message. A new property comes on the market, the client gets an email, and they get a text message like this to view the property. You're not manually sending them that text message. The system is doing it for you. That's how powerful it is. So if the customer is getting a text message like this here on Monday, maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and they're seeing that trend that, hey, this person or this agent keeps sending me new properties, and once they click on the link and they see something like this, why wouldn't they want to work with you? They're looking for a property, you're sending them links for the new inventory before anyone else without doing a thing. Why wouldn't they want to work with you? Okay. And even if they're on the mobile app, or if they're on just on their mobile browser, they don't have to download any app. It will take them to Safari or Google Chrome, and they will see something like this, all the property details. And if they're browsing it through their laptop or PC, they see even more details like this one. Okay. So you want to utilize your transaction desk and your matrix at all times, guys. Okay. So ljagent.com, guys, this is a resource center for you guys. So you always guys want to use this. So under Realtor Tools, we also remove the passwords. There's no password there. So you guys can just log into any of the links that you want. First is your one key dashboard. Okay. Once you're logged in, guys, you want to click on Matrix, or you can go back and click on MLS Matrix here, take you to the same exact page. One is that we want every one of you guys to organize your dashboard. Okay, if you have not done so, please click on Edit Dashboard and uncheck or untoggle any of the things that you don't want and order it, put it in the order that you like. It took me maybe 20 minutes to do this, but now when I come in the morning, I see if anybody visited our website. I see if there's any changes or any updates for my favorite searches, which I want to show you how you do that, right? I'm looking at the office activity here. I'm looking at the market watch. You don't have to select all of them. Just put it in your preference. Hey, I'm logging into this dashboard every single day. I just want to organize it. Okay, so you want to do that. So I want to show you guys, obviously the easiest is adding your contact. Please let me know if any, this is the time to ask your questions, guys. So let me know if any of you guys have any questions regarding this. Adding contact is the easiest and the simplest thing you can do. So matrix, add contact, and add, right? You're adding their first name, last name, cell phone, and email address. If you don't have their phone number, that's perfectly fine. First name, last name, and email, and you add it. Okay? So now there's about 12 of us here, guys. Could someone guide me? How do I set up alerts for this person? Anyone? How do I find properties? How do I set alerts for this person? Anyone? Name first? No, we don't do that. So that's a good one, right? It's perfectly fine, right? We're not clicking on the name. We just added them under the contact. How are we going to set up alerts? Guys, the news, the interest rates, all of that means nothing if we're not able to find properties for our clients. I'm pretty some of you guys do know it, don't want to mention it, but I need someone to help us out. How we're going to add alerts. Perfect, perfectly. Well said. So I'm doing a search. So I'm clicking on search. I can either go to residential, rental, any of them. Okay, cross property. And here, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, up here. So there's a perfect, perfect, right? So if you want to draw on map, good. If you want to put it under county, you want to put it under town, that's perfectly fine. But map is your best option. You always want to start with map, right? If you don't see your map here, you can click on my current location. You can do so. You can put in the zip code, any of that, but you're basically drawing on map, right? So let's say I want to draw on map here, right? So I go back to criteria here, and how many properties that we see there? Uh-huh, 28, perfect. So what's the next step? Perfect. I'm on results. Sure. No, I think you guys took us. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, save. So save, I have three options. Save save search, new auto email, new speed bar shortcut. Which one do I select? Perfect. New auto email. So what's the difference between these two? Anyone? Hmm. Correct. So keep it simple. New safe search is for yourself, and new auto email is for your client. Okay. So if it's your client, I'm clicking on new auto email, and now I'm selecting my client, right? What else I got to do here, right? Yeah, I chose one guy. Yeah, I chose one client. What else I got to do here? Okay. So it says, where it says CC, leave it blank. That is for your client. Let's say it's husband and wife, and they say, hey, also send links to my wife, right? Or my husband, or my brother, or my sister. You can add theirs. But you want to click on BCC so you get a copy of it, of all the emails, right? What else is needed, guys? Text message. There you go, right? So simple rule, after selecting your contact, make sure both of the check boxes are checked, right? BCC and text message. Okay. So in subject, what should we put? Perfect. So it's basically a title for that search. So if someone is looking for Nassau County, I'm just putting in Nassau listings. And if you want to go even more in details, you could put in maybe 700 to 800K, right? Or if you want to just leave at Nassau County or Nassau listing, anything where your client can look at the title and can know that, hey, this is all the property that I'm about to view has the correct title. If it's for commercial, if it's for a rental, if it's for one family, two family, you can mention those there. Okay. What else am I doing? Yeah. No, okay, that's a good one. So I would do this, right? Once I'm done with this, it's going to take me back to the results. I'm going to click on set up new alerts and select the second investor. So there's no way to add two people here, but once I'm done with this, I can go back to results and do the second person. So let's just do this together. So this one is going to one investor, just me, right? So once I've selected this, I hit save. But I just want to finish this, guys. Just for schedule, just make sure we click on as soon as possible and hit save. So far, we just added the contact, or we selected the contact. We checked the BCC and also send via SMS. We put in a subject and where it says schedule, we selected as soon as possible and save. Okay, so let's just do that. On the top, it says created auto email Nassau County. We are back to the same results, right? So Rupinder, to answer your question, I'm going to click on new auto email again and select the second investor that I have and do the same thing. Yeah. Hmm. I think you're talking about adding as cart. I think maybe you selected them individually. So I don't want to defeat the purpose of, that is secondary. You're like actually picking few properties. But the first thing I just want to make sure everybody understands is to set up one generic search for them, right? According to whatever they're asking for. do that, right? So before I get to that, guys, anyone else has any questions on this? Okay. We added the client under my contact. Then we want to search. We put in the criteria for that client. And once we see this list here, even in the beginning, when I was selecting it, I was selecting all and doing an auto search. Then I figured out that we don't have to select anything. Basically, the system is saying that, hey, this is the criteria, this is the map, and here's the results. Assign it to anyone that you want. Anything new comes on this market. If we have 28 properties right now, if there's a 29th property that comes in, the client will get an email and a text message just for that one particular property. Okay? Now, once I have these searches and I want to actually handpick few properties, right? So let's say I just want to just randomly select three of them, right? I can actually make it into a cart on the bottom here. Instead of save, we see cart here. So think of it going to a supermarket. We have a shopping cart. We're selecting a few items from here, a few items there. We're putting it as your saved searches, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can send it to few clients. You can save it for yourself. You're simply just selecting few properties and putting in a cart. So once I selected three of them here, right? Yeah, we added three of them here, and then I already have it. It says my save searches, housing. You can simply create a new one, new cart. And what do you want to name it? Maybe commercial listings or listings for Bob, right? Anything you want, or my favorite search, anything that you want, right? Single family properties. Whatever you want to put it, you're selecting few and putting it into cart. So let's just say listings for Bob, and I hit save. Where did that go? The top message, it tells you that it created a cart for you, but it still left you on the same page so you can do more activity if you want. Okay? So if I want to see where are my carts, I'm going to my matrix and I'm going to my carts. You see listings for Bob here. I see three properties. If I were to click on it, it's going to show me that list of just those three properties I selected. Now I can do whatever I want with it again. I can save it. I can send them a message, anything I want to do with it. Okay? Everybody follows? How would we send one property? So we already set up the alerts for them. They're getting automatic messages. But now let's say I'm in my dashboard, right? I'm starting my day here. I'm looking at, let's say, activity in Queens here, right? There's 290 properties that's on the market. I'm doing my research, and all of a sudden, I said this property is really good. If I click on the address, right, it takes me to a map. So I'm getting used to this as well, but we got to click on MLS ID. So if I were to click on MLS ID, okay, that we see this is the activity that's going on. This property was in the market for 15 days. It was sold for a little bit less than what they were asking for, right? But let's just say I want to share this property. It was a brand new property. If I want to share it, how could I? Or maybe this one. There was a price decrease on this one, right? How do I send this property to one of my clients? Anyone? Maybe I want to mention there's an open house on Friday between 5 and 7. Go to email. I'm there. I just want to make sure everybody gets it. Yeah, under actions, email. Okay, I I put it. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Correct. Opt in. Yeah, opt in. He wants to opt in so he can get it. If he wants to opt out, he doesn't want to get it. So some agents do ask me about subject and body. Do we have to put anything in here? No, we don't. We don't. We don't have to do anything. The system already sets in a very professional format, so we don't have to do anything. So we simply clicked on actions, email, and then we selected our client, BCC, and also send text message. All of them check marked all the time and hit send. I'm not gonna do that to him here, but you hit send. He'll get a text message, he'll get an email, and when they click on that link, it's gonna take them to this particular property. Okay, guys, this, yes, sir. Yes, here. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. That's a yeah, yeah, of course. That's a great question. So I would go back to our ljagent.com and I would go to one home agent. I click on that. Then it's saying this is an agent login, right? So for MLS, which one should we put in? Which MLS are we part of? One key, right? We have few agents who putting in LIBOR. I started doing that too when we started. I put in LIBOR, nothing comes up. Put Long Island, nothing comes up. Then it was actual name is one key MLS. We select that. We hit continue. Now you'll see a list of all your clients, right, in this format. And you can see that this client had activity 53 minutes ago, this one 2 hours ago, this one 6 weeks ago. So if you want to see their activity now, you can click on preview account and you can see their activity here. Where did it go? Okay, so here, the main link is to go one home agent, and for your client is one home client. Okay, so if someone was to go to onehome.com, right, they're not able to see any of the listings. They're basically saying that you need to sign in and you need to work with a real estate agent in order to get the invite. So initially, when we're sending them the invite to sign up, then they have access to one home. Okay. So, guys, I think we're running out of time, but I highly recommend that we get a full experience from Matrix, right? As clients, we want to be so professional that if I have a client sitting next to me and the person says, "Hey, I'm looking for a property in South Ocean Park. My budget is around $700,000. Find me properties." My job is to find them properties within seconds, right? Literally set up the alerts with them. If they're sitting next to you on if you're drawing a map, but you don't want to be those one of those guys where you don't know what's going on with the systems, right? You want to use that in your free time, practice that, send me screenshots. Hey, Lucky, I'm stuck here. Where do I go from here? That's the only way we can learn, right? We're not judging anyone. This is a new system for every agent out there, not just our agents, but all the agents out there. I mentioned we have few agents from other agency that send me a message, hey, how do I host an open house? How do I change the status on Matrix? We want to make sure that our agents are fully engaged with the new system. They know how to actually use all the systems, all the features, right? There's plenty going on. But the core things, the main things that really gets the ball rolling is to add a client, set up alerts for them, and start paying attention to the inventory on a regular basis. Okay? Questions, concerns, guys? Anything on your mind? Okay. So make sure we all know our systems. We know how to show properties to our clients, and we want to go under contract, right? Right now, we have about, I believe, 16 or 17 deals under contract. We should be doubling that in next month or so. We literally want every one of our agents to be so engaged with our clients. It's all about quality. It's not about getting 100 leads. It's just we're working with maybe two or three solid clients that can go under contract. Really get to know them. Really get to know their situation. That are they really ready to purchase? If yes, I'm gonna make sure that I show them properties on a regular basis where we can go under contract as soon as possible. Okay. Zillow, we mentioned, guys, we have loan officers who's going to be doing advertisement with you guys, co-marketing. If you have any budget that you guys want to spend, this starting next month or so, you want to do it in Zillow and Realtor.com. Both of them are great sources. You just got to pick one. Okay. If you want a guide for your loan options, ljmortgageteam.com has all the loan options for your clients. They can review it in their own time and ask us any questions out there. Okay. That'll do it from my end, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Happy New Year to all of us, and hopefully we can close a lot more deals this year compared to anything else. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.